Okay, guys, hey, there's Jet888 here. It is October 2nd. So I'm just sharing real quickly what Google is showing today. Pretty disturbing. It's interesting too, because you look at this, you think that they're out hiking, you know. So why are you having a book that shows kind of like a play, like a download video play thing? Like press go. And by the way, real quickly, I just wanted to let you guys know the last like 4 times in the last couple of days when I've been looking at a video, I start to hit this play button just like that, and there is suddenly a bright flash, and I can actually feel it. It's not just the light, but I can actually feel a little bit of a click. So I just want to kind of warn people that when you start playing your videos, wherever your platform is, this was both on BitChute and YouTube that this happened. Don't look at this screen when you hit the play button, just to be safe, okay? Just, that's a side note. Okay, so I look at this, here's Google. Look, this is an Appalachian Trail. So when I look at this, gonna play here. See, it says celebrating the Appalachian Trail. So I thought that was sort of strange or interesting, whatever, why. And we'll get into that little zigzag later. And I'm sure there's a lot of things that I can find in this, but this is just my real quick, little message, okay? As quick as I can go. Okay, so the word Appalachian Trail, the anagram, one anagram is natal. That means like born, where your birthplace is, dealing with babies, really. Natal paraphiliac. Paraphiliac. So here's the definition. Paraphilias are persistent and recurrent sexual interest, urges, fantasies, or behaviors of marked intensity involving objects, activities, or even situations that are atypical in nature. So maybe could those objects also maybe be, babies? So just think about that. So of course, the National Institutes of Health, hey Fauci, did a study on this, paraphilia, done by Christy A. Fisher and Raman Marwaha. I don't know how to say that. This was done March 6th. It was at least updated March 6, 2023, pretty recently. So when I go look at Christy A. Fisher here at Aventura Medical Center is her affiliation. So here it is in Florida, LGBTQ Clinical Services. They're hiring patient advocate for transgender patients, collecting sexual orientation and gender identity data in health records, or providing training on LGBTQ, an inclusive medical decision, whatever. So it gives you a little bit of a sense of who they are. Looking at Case Western Reserve, UN Metro Health, gender reassignment, we find Case Western Reserve, UN Metro Health, MC book for Stat Pearls Publishing, which that Stat Pearls Publishing was who did this study. Interesting little crown there. So this is one of, it says it's in the top 20 hospitals in Ohio. Down here, they're publishing Treasure Island, Florida, 19th of October 2018. There's some review books, regular cross-sex hormone treatment or gender reassignment surgery confirming the desired gender, e.g. penectomy. Don't even want to know that, which I already know. Vaginoplasty, however you say, in natal male. Natal males. Give the little boys a vagina. Mastectomy or phalloplasty in a natal female. So phalloplasty is a gender-affirming lower body surgery that creates a penis and scrotal sac, then testicular implants in the scrotum, and implants for erection, phase 2 and 3, short page content, blah, blah. The penis is created using tissues from your genitals and from your forearm. Hey, give me a hand. And our thigh. So vaginoplasty, am I saying that right? In natal male, what's a natal male? So just looking natal male, I don't know, sex assigned at birth. The sex, male or female, assigned to an infant, most often based on the infant's anatomical and other biological characteristics, aka dead giveaway as to who or what gender you are, but anyhow, sometimes referred to as birth sex, natal sex, biological sex, or sex. However, sex assigned at birth is the recommended term. Merriam-Webster even says natal definition, especially associated with one's birth, a natal star. Examples of a natal in a sentence. It just shows the word native, of relating to or present at birth, especially associated with one's birth. This says recent examples on the web, an evaluation of natal males and natal females using the core autogynephilia scale. Autogynephilia scale. Looking that up, come right down here. A core autogynephilia scale was developed to assess a subject's propensity to be sexually aroused by the fantasy of being a woman. And of course, we've got another study on this, autogynephilia, at the National Institutes of Health. I don't even know if I want to open it, but a core autogynephilia scale was developed to assess a subject's propensity to be sexually aroused by the fantasy of being a woman. So, I mean, this just looks like, to me, the word natal means natal male. Just when you look at it, just you think baby boy. So how could a baby boy already have any kind of sexual propensity or arousal to be a woman? This is just very strange, very twisted in my opinion. Just for instance, when I go to Google and look at the word natal, this is what it shows me, natal. It shows me little babies. So those are the author's affiliations, at least. And of course, they say that the paraphilias are persistent and recurrent sexual interests, urges, fantasies, or behaviors of marked intensity involving objects, activities, or even situations that are atypical in nature. Okay, so anyhow, this activity outlines the evaluation and management of paraphilia and paraphilic disorders. Okay, so they show that they need to be managed by healthcare professionals. So there you just created yourself another little niche, you know, to create a profession so you can have another expert or professional. I'll leave you the study. So, oh, and they talk about the P word too, which I don't know if I should say it, but anyhow, that is any sexual activity with a prepubescent child, blah, blah, blah. They lie. I mean, tell you about etiology, epidemiology, treatment management. Basically, too, it says it is currently deemed as merely impossible to fix. So at the very bottom, which is where I always go to see who or where this was funded by, but it says disclosure, Christy Fisher declares no relevant financial relationships with ineligible companies. It basically says the exact same thing for Rahman Marwaha, whatever, declares no relevant financial relationships with ineligible companies. What about eligible companies? What kind of relationship did they have with them? And I think we saw that above with those hospitals, who will all benefit from knowing that there is no cure, and so no cure from that, and so you should let people change into whatever, metamorphosize into whatever sexual orientation they were told that they weren't or were, or indoctrinated to believe they were or weren't, whatever. But that's your NIH, that they're sharing this. Okay, so the other anagram I came up with, still using the word paraphiliac. Oh yeah, one other thing Wikipedia says about natal, of or relating to the buttocks. So another anagram regarding the word natal is allant. Merriam-Webster says allant is sneezeweed, and they show this plant right here, little sneezeweed. And here we are today, October 2nd, like I said. And on my computer today happens to be this little yellow plant. So if I go look at this little flower, and isn't that interesting? There's a thing of popcorn right there on my little pop-up thing. Don't know why it's not focusing. But it goes up to October flowers, create images using DALL-E. And I just looked at the word doll and an E. But there's your flowers, same as my computer, what they are referring to as allant being sneezeweed. But real quickly, DALL-E here, there's the gematria. The Jewish is the 50, Jewish gematria. This is a numerical equivalent to the letters. Like so in Jewish gematria, for instance, D equals 4, A equals 1, L and L both equals 20, and E equals 5. They have a numerical equivalent. This is the English gematria, and it's a little different. D equals 24, A equals 6, L and L are both 72, and E is 30. And in the simple gematria, just like it says, D is 4, A is 1. So you would say basically A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, etc. So back to that DALL-E. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but DALL-E. And the other equivalents are Allah and Arabic. And I did a whole video, too long probably for a lot of people, at 1:26, but thoughts on FEMA's October 4th emergency alert included in my walk with my horse, Lucky Dragon. I showed 3 days ago, just showed how Google basically didn't do anything, like they didn't show any pictures, which was a tad unlike them. So 3 days ago, on my computer, it showed a little picture of fall foliage, and it says best fall foliage around the world, and it shows it's got a plant orientation also, just like today's October 2nd. And just among other things, tin and emerald were part of this, and I just did the whole video on that. But on the 27th of September, I also showed the fact that they showed this, and I thought that it looked like Arabic, like people in Arabic robes from far away. And there's your camera, but it was really like a suitcase, and it was World Tourism Day. So it was weird, but it all took me back to the Middle East. And it took me to this word, which 25 is also Mecca and FEMA. But I showed all kinds of weird things. There's Disney with her little Baphomet head kind of thing, and dealing with Saudi Arabia and the clock towers and what I think are going to be like energy weapon type of things that we're seeing all over the place. Anyhow, I think all this stuff ties together. But DALL-E is also, besides Allah and Arabic, is also Neo. And as in the Matrix, remember that, or one. And the WEF, as in World Economic Forum, who's trying to take over everything. And DALL-E in the simple gematria is also 34. And the word cold, which that allant being a sneezeweed, to me, it's just like, I don't know, just their little rituals. They show you everything. But the word natal is sort of weird, of or pertaining to a person's birth, celebrating one's natal day. We would normally call that a birthday, presiding over or affecting a person at birth, natal influences. And this plant also, just by chance, is also called an inula plant, but if you look at the anagram for that too, It's I Luna, and there's your moon for all the little, you know, Satanists or whatever that want to go there. Oh, and the word Dali is also magic. It's also Canada. It's also med bed. And just one more thing before I leave. There's so much more to this, but I'm just going to leave it here with the Google, and that rock pointing at looks like a start to the book. I don't know. Maybe you guys have some insight on that, because I'm not going to keep this much longer, but I look at that trail too and I see zigzag. And zigzag in both the English and simple gematria, 456 and 76. There's the numbers that go with it. If for some reason it just won't focus. So zigzag, among a few, a ripple, Titanic, a black rock, which I brought up the black rock when I was putting together the FEMA plus FCC plus EAS plus WEA, all part of that emergency thing that's coming on supposedly October 4th. I think it's going to be maybe the 10th, and October 10th instead, and I'll show you why later. But that was Mecca, AWEF, safe. Like Mecca, that's where they're going to get their money, from that black rock, the black box. And I showed the Kaaba, which surrounds everything about it, is about a black rock. And it's also Disney. So a lot of little overlaps from my video 3 days ago regarding thoughts on FEMA October 4th emergency. And one thing I think that also maybe October 10th is also going to be significant. When I look at the words October 10th in the Jewish gematria, which is 543. October 10th is also Build Back Better at 543. Build Back Better, where have we heard that? It's also rocky, as in, remember the black rock, the black stone of the Kaaba, and they're showing this rock here. And it's also cornerstone, which is where they put that, everyone looks at that Kaaba that they go and look at. There's the cornerstone there. The rock is in the east of the cornerstone. I mean, you can go all over and look at the black stone of Mecca. You can see that the eastern corner of the Kaaba is the black stone. Here's this one video that says, and there is rarely a time when nobody is touching it and glorifying Allah. And that's the cornerstone to the Kaaba. That's where everyone is gathered, at this corner. And remember, they're all gathering where they have all these towers, and they have tons of cell towers in here, and it's all centered around the Royal Clock Tower, which I covered in that video. And there's your very Shriner Masonic looking symbol right there. This to me is an energy, something regarding energy. And this is where I'm thinking October 10th is probably going to be more significant than October 4th, but we'll see. And 543 is big money again, October 10th. And they're making big money around that Mecca because they're using it as a tourist attraction, where they showed that a couple days ago too, the world tourism, which I showed on that video. And it's also 543. Which is magnetic pole shift. And in my other video, I showed the toroidal. There were visuals I showed in my last video showing toroidal. Interesting how they show drones too, by the way, hint, hint. But this is very important, the magnetic pole. And I showed the Maori face because their painting looks a lot, very, very toroidal. And this is the war dance. And Prince, was it Harry? He went there and did this war dance with them. So I just think all this is very ritualistic. It just seems very disturbing, ritualistic, murderous, and it deals with war. And they think that this is respectful. But if you did that to your boss one morning, do you think you'd be getting a raise soon? I don't know. It might be a cultural difference, but I think there's a lot more to it. And isn't that funny that there is a Maori shoe collection that's red, a red shoe, made in Italy. It says the Maori shoes are men dress traditional styles made in exotic skins, especially alligator and crocodile. And I'll have to add this later because there's a big flight thing that's going on in San Diego County area that is on what they call the potato chip rock. And I think this is really related to this. So it's a potato chip rock here in San Diego County. And this is just something weird. It's hiking Mount Woodson Trail to Potato Chip Rock. And there's just so many crossovers on this. And here in the San Diego County's Potato Chip Rock, they have lots of these near it with this little door there. But I'll leave that for another time. Just focus on this Appalachian thing. And again, that zigzag, if you look at it as zig and zag, the numerology for zig and zag is sudden destruction, Titanic, which we already saw, Black Rock, which you already saw, Disney. Oh, that's sorry. This is zigzag, but it's also the plan, which I forgot to show you, and BioNTech. But this is zig and zag, which is download, the singularity, Black Crow, Woodland, and Halloween, and Deep State, Pineal Gland. So I just think that's weird because Halloween's coming up in October. So just looking at everything that Google's trying to show, I think, because if you're out in nature, why are you doing that? Like, what's that about? How is that consistent? It's just weird. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. Take care. Oh, so I don't know, head on a swivel, October 10th also. And remember, just keep your phones away from you. Stay away from any smart meter in your house. Put foil around it. I don't know. Just stay away from it. Okay. Stay away from electronics. Okay, guys. Bye. Okay, dang. Just one more thing. So remember the zig and zag. And I showed how zig and zag was 95. It's both 95 and 570, which so is disaster. And remember those Maori shoes, talking about especially Alligator, and I showed that red shoe. It's just weird, events coming soon, and they show this red leathered shoe. So I just think that's sort of interesting. What does that say? A big M. M for Maui. So Alligator is also disaster. Remember the 570 and 95? It's also pentagram, and it's also emergency. You know what Alligator is also at 288? It's hair on fire. And remember when I was showing you that boring company? I showed this about my video 3 weeks ago called Maui's 9/11, and it shows the boring company with the flamethrower. And remember, we'll go look here. On their website, if you go into this corner right here, it shows the flamethrower. Gosh, why isn't it focusing? It never focuses there. Flamethrower, and then look at burnt hair. Isn't that sort of weird? Burnt hair and the flamethrower. And when you come up here, you see burnt hair. This is really disturbing. Click on the burnt hair, and you see this fragrance perfume bottle, burnt hair, and down here it says singed at the bottom. And you scroll down, it says the essence of repugnant desire. So when you want to talk about repugnant desire, and remember, repugnant is arousing disgust or aversion, offensive or repulsive. And you look at the anagram, celebrating the Appalachian Trail, and we look at the anagram for the Appalachian Trail, and it's natal paraphiliac, and that's a persistent or recurrent sexual interest, urges, fantasies, or behaviors of marked intensity involving objects, activities, or even situations that are atypical in nature. Have we been seeing that a lot lately, by any chance? Okay, now I'm finished for now. Okay, thanks, guys.